Mr. Vladimir Putin and Mr. Xi Jinping, they are no longer hiding their intentions. Both Russia and China are escalating effort to reduce dependency on the US dollar and build alternative system of global trade. Well, after high-level meetings, both leaders signaled deeper financial cooperation involving trade settlement in rubles and yuan rather than the American currency now, dollar. Well, that matters a lot. Why? Because the dollar is not just money. It is one of America's greatest geopolitical weapons. The dominance of the US dollar allows Washington to impose sanctions, influence global banking network, and maintain extraordinary leverage over international trade. While countries that rely heavily on dollar often remain vulnerable to American financial pressure. But Moscow and Beijing, they are now trying to create a parallel system. Energy deals between Russia and China are increasingly bypassing the dollar altogether. In fact, banking coordination is deepening, cross-border payment system they are expanding, and both the governments are presenting this as protection against future Western sanction and financial restriction. The timing. That is heavily significant here. Russia faced sweeping sanction after the Ukraine conflict. China fears similar pressure in future geopolitical confrontation. Together, they are trying to reduce their vulnerability by reshaping the parts of global financial system itself. Well, while the dollar still dominates internationally, the long-term challenge is becoming more and more serious than many expected a decade ago. And for Washington, this is not just an economic issue. It is a strategic warning because if major powers increasingly move away from dollar, America's ability to influence global events financially, it would weaken over time. And that is why the White House is watching Moscow-Beijing relationship extremely carefully tonight. And wait, amid all this tension, all this global tension rather, another warning is now emerging directly inside Mr. Trump's own camp. Now here enters New York City that may soon witness something that America rarely sees. Government-backed grocery store. NYC Mayor Mr. Zoran Mamdani, he has announced plans for a $70 million initiative that would launch city-supported grocery stores, and that too across all 5 boroughs, beginning with the Bronx next year. The proposal is designed to tackle one issue that is dominating everyday American life: rising food prices here. Supporters say that millions of families are struggling to afford very basic essentials. Grocery bills have surged in recent years. Eggs, milk, in fact, vegetables, meat, household items, all have become significantly more expensive. Now, for working class family already burdened by rent, healthcare, and transportation cost, food inflation has become a serious crisis. Mr. Mamdani argues cities can no longer sit back while private markets fail to keep necessity affordable. Now, under that particular proposal, private operators, they would still manage the stores, but pricing would reportedly be controlled under city rule to ensure affordability. Well, that has triggered fierce debate though. Critics say that government involvement in grocery market, it would create insufficiency, political interference, and long-term financial burden for taxpayers. In the meantime, supporters, they argue that extraordinary times require extraordinary solution. This story is also symbolic of something larger that is happening globally. Across many countries, governments are becoming more interventionist as economic pressure grows. From energy price cap in Europe to food subsidies in developing nations, states are increasingly stepping into markets once dominated almost entirely by private corporations. And while cities debate how to make groceries affordable, another much bigger economic battle, it is unfolding between world powers themselves. The battle over the US dollar.